You know what, Gordon? Our setup is not good enough. We're done with this. We need a better setup.
You know what? We can't be looking this good and putting out such good content with this kind of back. This is a special week. All right, we need something special to celebrate.
Got any ideas?
Better. I like that. Professional, you know?
Firstly, shout out to absolutely no one for emailing the Plays and Fades Gmail account to be my girlfriend. So shout out to all of you for doing absolutely nothing. Gordon will now continue to claim to be the host of this show that we are very clearly co-hosts.
Mine. We're missing something.
It's too bad you keep betting on Buffalo because they're really not paying the bills.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. I'm your host.
And I'm your... Can you say co-host if one person already claimed to be the host? Not sure.
I'm your host, Gordo Gamble, joined by this beauty of a man here, Kiro. We're here for an absolutely killer slate of UFC action, UFC 269, an absolute banger, and we have something special for you guys. Right?
You can already tell what's special because we're already in a new location.
New location, completely brand new.
Yeah, definitely not the same room, but a different angle.
You're right, not at all. We're looking good, and so is this slate. How are we doing, my friend?
You know what? Number one story might be the slate, but the number two story might be the slate of guests on the show again this week.
There you go.
But I'm doing well. This has been a good week. I mean, last week's card was kind of wild, pretty unpredictable, huge favorites getting upset, all sorts of crazy shenanigans. The Bills won another week, choking. But we're not here to talk football. We're here to talk UFC, and we're excited for this weekend. We've been waiting for it for a long time. Last pay-per-view of the year. Huge card. But yeah, very exciting week.
And as you mentioned, we have some absolutely stellar guests joining us for the show. But before we introduce them, something nice to announce for us this week. I'm feeling generous. I'm feeling good about the slate. We will be doing a $25 to first. Free entry, so no risk, just reward, and I'm feeling good about it. In order to enter that contest, all you gotta do is comment on the video below your DraftKings username, and we'll get you entered into that. Winner will be paid out by PayPal by yours truly. So get into that, win some money, take some off of us. Let's have some fun with it. But we're not done there. I'm feeling extra generous this week. I will be giving an extra $25 to whoever can guess the top 3 scorers on DraftKings this week. Comment them down below as well as your username. And again, take my money. Why not? No risk, just reward. Let's have some fun with it, all right? Once again, 2 opportunities to take my money, but you have to make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, liking the video to enter for that.
Moving on, let's intro some of our guests here. I mean, these are our 3 incredible dudes that we're having on the channel this week. Who's the first one?
Well, first up, we got the DFS Whisperer himself, absolute legend for a bunch of sports. He's been killing it on Prize Picks, on his Discord, and on everything, really. And he's really got some great takes for this UFC card himself. Really happy to have him on here. Make sure to check him out on Twitter and on YouTube.
Second guy we have on is Liam's Picks Fights. Obviously, if you guys are regulars on the channel, you'll know who he is already. Does streams with Gordon all the time. They did their Dana White Contender Series stream together. This guy knows MMA. If there's a guy you want to go to for MMA, he might be the one man. Does a lot of BJJ himself, as you can see in this photo. Guy's an absolute tank. So, shout out to Liam.
And last but not least, we have Mr. Chance Wagers. Now, if you guys don't know who this is, remember the name now. Absolute killer on all betting formats. I'm trying to get him into the DFS too. He'll be competing in this tournament as well, and he will be joining me and Liam on this show on Friday. Get used to seeing the face. This man is sharp, so check him out on Twitter as well. Let's not waste any more time. Let's talk about this absolutely massive card. Like we said, an absolutely killer slate. Let's get started with the main event. Dustin the Diamond Poirier versus Charles Oliveira. Oliveira obviously holding the belt, but this is going to be a great scrap. You actually have the challenger being the outright favorite right now. Do we agree with that, or what are we thinking?
We do agree with that, actually. We do think that Poirier is going to win this fight. Should be a good one. We're very excited to watch it, but we don't necessarily think that Oliveira is going to get it done in this spot. He is the champ. Good performance against Chandler, right? But that was a pretty close fight. I mean, Chandler knocked him down a few times throughout the course of that fight, and we know from watching the UFC that Poirier, we think, is a better fighter than Chandler.
On the other hand, though, Charles Oliveira is an absolute killer on the ground. I think his win condition is that submission, which will score very high. So he might be a very good GPP option as well. People are actually taking him to win completely outright.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Liam, and I pick fights. Wanted to hop on with my man Gordo and run through my DFS favorite plays for this weekend at UFC 269, and I've got from the main event Charles Oliveira. I feel like everybody is on Dustin Poirier this weekend, and Do I understand? Sure. Number one, it's great for a story. Number two, he has real, legit, credible skills in every position. That being said, Charles Oliveira has now proven he can knock people out on the feet. And I think that Dustin Poirier has been hit with a metric ton of volume over the course of his career. A lot of damage incurred on both sides. I think that a lot of damage could be adding up on the Poirier side here. And I think in addition, Charles is the better grappler here. I think that his wrestling improvements are real. I think that Charles, if he gets on top, is one of the most dangerous finishers in the UFC. And so for that reason, I think that Charles is probably going to go a little underlooked and a little underplayed on DraftKings this weekend. Everybody loves Dustin Poirier. I get it. I do too. But I think Charles Oliveira might surprise everybody. And if he does, it's going to be by finish. You almost are assured of that. So Charles Oliveira, I think he's going to score well on DraftKings.
All right, moving right along, we have to talk about Amanda Nunes. I mean, she is the greatest female fighter of all time, double champ. And honestly, this price tag might not be high enough. She's averaging over 102 fan points. She's facing someone in Pena who's a very scrappy girl. This is too big of a step up. Amanda Nunes all the way. She is a safe, high-scoring option that should be owned in a lot of formats.
I think my premium buy-up spot of the card is Amanda Nunes this weekend. I think that Amanda is going to be too physically imposing. I think that Amanda is going to be the better striker, the better grappler. I think she's going to be able to meet Pena in all of those phases, and I actually think Amanda's pretty live to hurt Pena on the feet, force a bad shot out of her, and end up snatching up a submission, whether that be from the front headlock position or spinning around to the back. So I think Amanda's going to have a lot of different paths to finish here. I think she can get a TKO. I think she can get a submission. And so I think she's a good buy-up spot this weekend on DraftKings.
But if you are going to fit in people like Amanda Nunes, you're going to need some underdogs. DFS Whisperer, hit us with it. Who do you like as an underdog this week?
What's up, plays and fades fam? Easy here from the DFS Whispers. We got UFC 269 around the corner, and I got 3 DraftKings plays for y'all. So let's go ahead, get into it. First off, underdog. I really like Rolian Paiva at 7,100, I believe. Like, this is purely just playing on his heart, and Sean O'Malley has had some really good wins in the UFC, but he has not faced anybody like Paiva yet when it comes to just talent and grit, heart. I mean, we saw Paiva was damn near out in the first round versus Kyler Phillips and somehow still came through and got a win. In my opinion, that should have been a draw, but I like Paiva in this spot. The price tag is great as an underdog, so I'm going to be taking some shots on him.
Very, very valid points there. I do think Rolian Paiva is a very good option down low if you want to get risky, but it is the Sugar Show. We have to give him a little bit of respect here on the channel. Another side of this fight would be O'Malley. Kyler Phillips did drop Rolian Paiva in the first and almost killed him in that first round. So if the Sugar Show is as legit as he says and he wants to finish him early, definitely a path to victory, but I completely agree with you, Whisperer. I think that he's a good option down low for Rolian Paiva. But there you go. There's an underdog for us right there. Let's get some favorites in here, all right? Like we said, Amanda Nunes on top, but you can make a valid argument for each one of the top guys above 9K. A person you can really go to up top is Bruno Silva. Liam, tell us a bit more about him.
I think, Bruno Silva, Blindado, guys, got to pay attention to the fact that this guy has power in every position, right? And he actually retains his power throughout a fight as well. Jordan Wright, talented guy, could have some upside here on the money line. But from a DraftKings perspective, I'm looking at this fight as Silva being very dangerous, carrying his power throughout the fight. I think he's live for a knockout in the very first round, and we've seen Wright go down several times. But in addition, Silva, if this fight gets extended, he's not a terrible grappler either. I think that he has some submission potential, but he really carries that power late. Proved that against Andrew Sanchez. I think Bruno Silva is another person that you may want to target on DraftKings this weekend.
All right, if you want to stay away from that very, very top end of the price range, Chance here's got a really good target we're liking in Randy Costa.
It's Chance Wagers here, gonna go over some fights for UFC 269. I appreciate Gordo for having me on his channel. So yeah, I guess I'll just get right into it. Probably my favorite one on the card, DFS-wise, I'd like to talk about is going to be Randy Costa taking on Tony Kelly at 135 pounds. Randy Costa is someone I'm pretty high on as a fighter, at least in the first 5 minutes. He doesn't seem to have a great gas tank, which is something that is extremely worrisome. I think we have a great opportunity here to bet on Randy Costa, and I will say for a couple reasons. The first is Tony Kelly has virtually zero striking defense. He basically just gets hit in the face repeatedly. He got hit in the face way too much against Al-Casey, and also lost a decision to Kai Kamaka, who we now know is horrible. And if Costa's able to hit him the way Al-Casey was, this one should be over very fast. Hopefully Costa doesn't die. Hopefully he kills Kelly early, and if not, hopefully he stays alive and just takes his shots. And I think Costa is a pretty good DFS play.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you say, Chance. If I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, Costa does really have like 7 minutes of gas tank. So if you want a Hail Mary option, a guy who you think may get able to get that late round finish, Tony Kelly, never been finished before. So if he's able to survive the early onslaught, he definitely does have a chance. It's just, if Randy Costa's going to win, he's going to score big, because he is that round one type of guy that we're like seeing on DraftKings. All right, lots of great options to talk about. Take a little break and talk about a fight in a hole we want to target. We're really liking this Jillian Robertson versus Priscilla Cashew fight. Tell us what side we're going to be on.
Yeah, as you said, it's a fight that we kind of like both sides of, but our ownership is going to edge slightly towards Jillian Robertson. I mean, we know that she is an elite submission artist. She is fantastic at getting those subs, and she has an opponent this week who is not particularly good on the ground. The only reason that we are not 100% ownership on one side of this fight as opposed to the other is because we know that Cashew has the advantage on the feet, right? And if she's able to stuff a lot of those takedowns early, stay on the feet, she is a gritty person. She is a tough customer to deal with. And if she's able to make this go into the later rounds of the fight without getting submitted early, she may be able to get that finish on the feet maybe, or win by decision just by landing more strikes than Robertson if she's just constantly going for takedowns. So we do edge Robertson here in this, but we also think that Cashew has the potential to maybe win in those later rounds and could put up a big points. So given that she does have a price tag of $6,900, so low, she could be a GPP option for you, but we do like Robertson a lot this week. One of our personal favorite fighters of the UFC, I don't know if you've seen, but
where's my shoe?
Gordon has done a shoey because of this man's first round knockout, Tai Tuivasa. Nice mid-range option. Let's hear what DFS Whisperers has to say about him this week.
If you like knockouts and shoeys, then you gotta take my boy Tai Tuivasa. I mean, one of the most entertaining personalities in the UFC, going up against Augusto Sakai, who just got knocked out by Jairzinho Rosenstrike. Now, Rosenstrike hits like a ton of bricks, so that is nothing to be ashamed of, but I just feel like Tai Tuivasa has the right momentum in his corner, and Sakai, he doesn't really throw that much volume. He's a good kickboxer, but he doesn't throw volume. Tai Tuivasa is a wild man. He's going to swing for 3 rounds, and I see him putting Sakai's lights out no later than the 2nd round.
All right, great breakdown. That is another really good target. We're liking that mid-range. Let's get an underdog in here. Underdog I'm liking this week is Erin Blanchfield. Now I know, Maverick is one ripped girl, terrifying. She's pretty good, but she struggles a bit with output, and Erin Blanchfield definitely looked to impress last time. She really caught my eye, and she had an absolutely masterful clinic against Sarah Alpar her last time out. If she's able to do that again, she's got great wrestling chops, great control, very good output as well. And I'm loving what I'm seeing from her. And at $7,800, she's worth a shot. She's one of the underdogs I'm targeting this week. With that underdog, though, we can get another favorite in there. Let's throw it over to Chance Wagers for another favorite we're liking.
I really like Josh Emmett here, taking on Danny Ige. I'm a real big fan of Emmett's game, and I have been for a while. But yeah, man, he's looked really good lately. And now he's taking on Danny Ige, who, just got... absolutely ran through by Korean Zombie. Danny Ige's just not a guy I'm really sold on as a fighter. He's honestly a pretty durable guy. I'm just really not sold on his finishing ability, to be honest. And especially against a guy as durable as Emmett has been. I don't see Emmett getting put out here. To me, I really think we're going to have 3 rounds of what could possibly be an absolute war. We could see some knockdowns from Emmett. And I just think on the feet, he's going to be much sharper than Danny Ige is. I think he's going to hit much harder. But yeah, so I think Emmett's a very solid DFS play. Should go 3 rounds, possibly a knockdown or 2, en route to a decision victory. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to follow me on Twitter at Chance Wagers. I should be doing the show Friday with Gordo and Liam. I appreciate you guys having me on, and make sure to get in that DFS contest with Gordo. I'm sure he's already mentioned it in the video, but make sure to get in that DFS contest. I will be in it myself. So yeah, let's get this money this weekend.
All right, one last guy we're talking about. We're going to throw it over to DFS Whisperer one last time, talk about our boy Ryan Hall and his famous, I don't know what they're called, and his very, very unique fighting strategy.
And my final pick will be Ryan Hall against Derrick Minner. Now, Ryan Hall's last outing was terrible. Like, he did not look good at all, but he's facing a guy that will take this fight to the spot where he wants it, which is on the ground, on the mat. Ryan Hall is one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the UFC, and we've seen Derrick Nunes up like 6 or 7 times, I want to say, and he is stupid enough to go to the mat with Ryan Hall. So give me a 9K Ryan Hall to sub Derrick Nunes anywhere in between the first and second round is where I'm calling. But if I want to put a number to it, I'll say midway through the second round, Ryan Hall will submit Derrick Nunes. Appreciate y'all having me on the channel. Let's get this money.
I'm very, very excited to see Hall fight, and I bet you are too. Very, very interesting fighter to watch, but and that's going to do it. We just threw out a lot of information for you guys. To sum it up real quick, couple fighters we're liking. I mean, I really like Nunes up top. Who doesn't? I think that Bruno Silva definitely has a very good path to victory as well. If you want to look down low, I think that having someone in a GPP option, is it going to be a Paiva, a Cashew, a Kelly, guys who have really potential to go big are great options as well. I'm going to target that main event. I think it's going to be absolutely electric. I think that finishes as well. But that's pretty much going to do it for us.
Thank you to all 3 of our guests this week. You guys are incredible in the spaces that you work in, and obviously helping us out with some MMA DFS. I mean, we love all 3 of you guys, and we appreciate your time spent sending us your videos to help out our audience, make some nice DFS lineups for this exhilarating card.
Yeah, but that's going to do it for us once again. Like we said at the start of the video, make sure you're subscribing and liking the video and commenting your DraftKings username down below, as well as your top 3 scorers, because we got money to give out. Let's get a lot of people going in this. Comment down below. I will be sending out invites accordingly. If you have any more questions about that or want to know more questions about the slate, you know where to find us on Twitter, @PlaysFades, @GamblesGordo. Shoot us a message and let us know who you guys are liking this week. A lot of money to be made. Absolutely beautiful card, and I'm excited for it. Let's make some money.